Arrested unlawfully, then behind the closed doors of police custody, humiliated, denied dignity, too often strip-searched, sometimes left naked.
These are horror stories, aren't they? Hugely damaging to public confidence, and the pain that they cause is very significant.
Today, from this former Victims Commissioner, the damning details of Dame Vera Baird's report on how people in custody have been treated by Greater Manchester Police. Details that were hard to hear, not least for the Chief Constable.
There is damage of an enormous kind to welfare, let alone to trust, by dealing with strip searching as a weapon of control, which I fear is the conclusion we are driven to.
Traumatising, yeah. When I think about the police force, I feel trauma and hurt, so much pain.
Chantal called police because she was worried about a child at risk. It was clear she wasn't the problem, and yet she was arrested. In a police cell with no toilet roll or period products, she spent hours in blood-soaked clothes.
You're meant to be able to trust them.
Yeah, and in that day, I should have felt protected and safeguarded, and I didn't. Got arrested and got made to feel like I'd done something wrong, like I was the perpetrator. You know, I was sat in that police station for all that time, not knowing what was going to happen, not knowing if everyone was okay, you know. Just awful, awful situation that they put me in.
To those given voice by this inquiry and who have not received the care and the consideration to which they are entitled, I am sorry.
There is plenty to be sorry for. The review questions whether the Chief Constable's flagship policy to double arrests is a reason for unlawful detentions. It says victims have been criminalised and complaints about police met with defensiveness and counter-attack. A key recommendation, no more strip searches on welfare grounds. The report says it's counterproductive, causing trauma while not effectively preventing self-harm.
The practices really are appalling, aren't they? Not adequately keeping records of those strip searches, you know, almost just using it as just one of the tools available, but it's not like that. The damage that is done in relation to people who go through that process is huge.
They've been unlawfully strip searched.
Maggie Oliver was a GMP detective. Now she supports victims and survivors, including some of those whose experiences are included in today's report.
The individuals who are responsible for the treatment of these men and women absolutely need to be held accountable. For me, they shouldn't be in that job. But I want to see accountability at the top of these organisations. Unfortunately, what I have seen over a period of now 12, 14 years is a system that is not fit for purpose, that doesn't listen to victims.
On the floor of a police cell after being strip-searched with no top on. These images and Zaina's account were the catalyst for the Baird review last year. But her experiences are not in the final report. She decided not to take part.
I don't believe reviews achieve anything other than the officials saying the same things. Lessons will be learned, and lessons are never learned because a few years later there's another review.
This police force has had damning reports before, but now out of special measures, it's said to be the most improved. It's clear, though, from this latest report, much more still needs to be done.
Well, earlier today, Claire Fallon spoke to the Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, Stephen Watson, to get his reaction to Dame Vera Baird's review.
It makes for appalling reading, and the examples that Dame Vera has highlighted in her report fall into the category of genuinely indefensible. And as a result, I have given a heartfelt apology to those who've been affected by it, and it doubles up our determination to continue GMP's improvement journey, because this is not the GMP that the public deserve.
So has anyone in this report from GMP face any kind of disciplinary action?
Well, as you know, there are a number of live investigations, some of those within GMP, some of those external to GMP with the IOPC, where they're being independently investigated. Those inquiries, those investigations need to run their course. But if you look at our track record of rooting out and booting out those not fit to wear the uniform, under my watch, there's a threefold increase in that. This isn't the odd bad apple. This is us, through a really rigorous approach to what quality and standards and behaviour looks like, getting stuck into those facets of GMP that take us back to the old ways, where the force was in special measures. I've personally thrown 86 people out of the organisation, and candidly, we will continue to do that.
Are you now committing to ending strip searches when they are for supposed reasons of welfare or
Yes.
to prevent self-harm?
Yes.
That will stop entirely, will it?
Yes, it will. So we have a programme of work to reflect both the spirit and the practicality of these recommendations. I do not think it justified that we continue to strip search people for their own good, because all of the evidence is that actually we do more harm than good.
Last year, we came to you with the cases of two women who had clearly been strip searched. In one of those cases, we could see it there on the custody footage. She was being strip searched. And your police force adamantly said they hadn't been strip searched.
Well, look, insofar as individual examples where we have got things wrong, we simply have to acknowledge that. This report points to the fact that there have been systemic weaknesses in terms of managing complaints, managing processes, lax record keeping, all of those things that are front and centre in terms of the action plan already put in place.
But I asked Dame Vera Baird whether in all of that footage that she had looked through, she ever saw another cop who was in the area where something was happening, calling it out.
Yeah.
And she said she didn't see it once.
There is an increased number of our own staff who call these things out and do so in increased numbers. Anything that is inimical to our values, anything that doesn't meet the quality, the standards, the behaviour that will take us from being okay, adequate, good in parts to genuinely outstanding needs to be surfaced. And my pledge as a leader who is really fierce in this regard is if you're not fit to serve, we'll find you out and I will kick you out.